Reading one of your speeches last night, and I'm a historian, so I'm very interested in the historical background. And you said Somalia and Somaliland have been deeply influenced by different colonial experiences. Somaliland under the British, Somalia under the Italians. And I'm curious, what was the impact of colonial rule, the differing impacts of colonial rule on these two areas? And how does that manifest itself now?
Thank you. As I said, Somaliland has been colonized by Britain. Britain's main purpose for their presence in Somalia at the time was actually to provide resources for distribution in Aden in Yemen, which was not far from Somaliland, just over the Red Sea. So the presence of Britain in Somaliland was limited to certain areas. It didn't actually interact the people in itself, and therefore the consequence for that was the Somaliland tradition was kept intact. Tradition of low conflict resolution. Somaliland predominantly was a rural nomadic society. We looked after our livestock. There was constant problems and search for grazing and water. And we had conflicts mainly over water and grass. And we used it to apply our own traditional ways of resolving those conflicts. That tradition was kept intact. Britain did not involve, did not change, and did not adopt. And when the British colonial administration left in 1960, Somaliland people have continued using their traditional means of resolving their conflict. The difference in Somalia was Italian colony has actively interacted with people. There was an Italian plantation and infrastructure in Somalia, and the Somali people during the colony worked for the Italian colonists. So the culture has been influenced by the Italian approach and modus operandi of colonialism. And how it manifested itself in the current political system in both countries is different. In Somaliland, we didn't need an international intervention to resolve our own affairs. Somaliland's democratic process is a product of the people of Somaliland. Somaliland's peacemaking and conflict resolution was based on our tradition. We sat down in 1991 when the former Somali state collapsed, and we talked about how are we going to about our governance. We have elected an administration that is inclusive, that's reflective of the different communities in Somaliland, by making use of our own traditional systems, because this tradition was kept alive. In Somalia, contrary to what happened in Somaliland, needed an international intervention. America wanted in 1992 what was called Operation Restore Hope, and then the UN followed, and then the EU.